Hello and welcome to episode 6 of Droning On with Altius Images. I'm Todd Dudley and I'm the founder and director of Altius Images, and in this Droning On series I will be interviewing people in the drone industry. Today I am thrilled to be joined by John Bannerman, who is the founder of Virtual Tours and Drone Magic. John is based in Perth, Australia and specialises in real estate marketing. We hope you enjoy the podcast. So I am delighted to be joined by John Bannerman, who is the founder of VTDM, or Virtual Tours and Drone Magic. John, thanks for coming on the podcast. How are you today, mate?
Going really well, thanks, Todd. Really well. Nice to meet you.
You too, mate. You too. So how is life down in Perth, Australia at the moment?
Yep, it's going all right. We seem to have come through the winter okay here in Perth, Western Australia. We're being as isolated as we are from the rest of the world. We've been able to use our hard borders with success as far as keeping Mr. COVID away or keeping him under control anyway. And so we're just talking about releasing some of the measures we've got and letting the hordes in. I guess we're going to know soon enough. If it was all, maybe it was just a fleeting moment of of comfort we had,
Well, if you've got any sense, you won't let anyone in from the UK for a little while just yet. But I'm glad everything's going well. And I think you said before we were chatting before the recording that it's about 30 degrees there as well.
Yeah, it's coming into summer, so just nice and slow. There's been nothing too extreme. I think we had 35 a couple of days ago. Let's head down the beach. Beaches are good in Perth, really good.
Well, most of our listeners are UK based, so everyone will be very, very jealous listening now. But I'm delighted for you, mate. I promise, even if it doesn't look like I am. So let's jump in then. If you could just sort of give us a little bit of background into yourself first, and then we'll jump into the company later. What made you get into drones in the first place, and how long have you been working with them?
Todd, I've been working pretty much similar time to you. I've had my commercial quals for, we call that the recall over here, the remote operated pilot's license, and I've had that for coming on two and a bit years, and sort of been. It took me a little bit longer than some to get my head around some of the tech. As you know, these small aircraft are flying themselves so much. It's really not so much of a danger, of losing control of your craft as such. If you keep up with all of your safety stuff, your pre-checks and all that, you get every instrumentation calibrated and all that. That's so you don't have flyaways,
Yeah,
and that kind of thing with your drone. Some of the listeners might not have heard about a flyaway. So when you're flying a drone out there and it's 700 meters away, and then all of a sudden you lose control there, and it just goes in a totally different direction, and you end up sort of just having to watch it on your screen, and then it could do anything. It could hit a tree, it could go in water or whatever it is. So it's kind of a dreaded moment for a drone operator, because these drones aren't cheap.
No, they're not. They're certainly not.
Yeah. What kind of drones are you into? What's your fleet consisting of over there, Todd?
Not a huge fleet at the moment. I've got my old Mavic Pro, which is what I started with, and then I've got a Mavic 2 since then, and I've also got the Mavic Enterprise Dual for a bit of thermal stuff that I do, which is all good fun. Yeah. What about you?
Yep, I'm exactly the same as you, except I'm not blessed with the search and rescue thermal drone yet.
Okay, yeah.
I'd love to do exactly that. Get into things, doing solar panel, checking. That's what your thermal camera is the best thing for, isn't it?
Yeah.
When it comes to checking out, if things are hot or not.
Yeah, exactly.
I've been tempted a little bit to look more into something which can have a bit more load bearing capacity, like jump up to an Inspire or something like that.
Yep.
So I can carry a bigger camera, or possibly do some advertising at an event or something. Flying a banner around. That's been something I've been trying to work out.
Yeah. The Inspire obviously it's always tempting, but I don't know about you. I just find the image quality that you get from the Mavic Pro 2 is just almost unbelievable. The first time I looked at the footage, I just couldn't believe it. It's such a big step up from the first Mavic Pro.
Yeah, that 1-inch sensor.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, thank you, Hasselblad. I think.
Yeah, absolutely. They've made me look a lot better than I am.
Yeah.
Hasselblad.
That's the thing. We've got a nice big sensor. The drone flies itself, so really we don't really need to do a lot. It's fine.
True. Yep.
So did you always have like an interest in aviation or remote controlled vehicles or anything like that, or was it just more? Did it come from more a sort of photography and creative perspective, or?
It's a good question, because it didn't come from photography at all. In fact, photography was my second job to learn after the first job of not crashing the drone.
Yeah.
So my life is sort of has gone these things like I've been working in corrections and immigration detention, working in mine sites, making gold bars and stuff. We've got a big gold setup here, you might know, inland in a place called Kalgoorlie, which is where I was born. It's about 700 kilometres due east of Perth, on the way to Sydney.
Yeah.
And I've been into events as well. I've been in bands, working events, and sort of I guess most recently, or the most direct route to drones was through event management course I was doing, and it came to the end of the course, and I was going through a couple of life issues, sort of family stuff, and when you're running an event, there's a billion things to consider. There's a billion little things spanners that can muck your day up. So we got qualified in doing it, but I wasn't happy about it, and so I thought maybe try and look at it from a different angle, and that's where the drones are. I could see drones being very active in events.
Yeah.
That
okay.
was sort of where I first started with the idea.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So that's where you started, and then how's it sort of developed? What kind of work are you guys doing now?
Well, it's gone in such an amazing little tool. This flying camera that you've got. Not only can it fly a camera around, but it can. It's got all these amazing, micro sensors, which have been brought in by the advent of mobile phones. So everything's miniaturized. It was already done. The job was already done for us by the time we needed sensors. So, so we can now detect things like the wrong weed growing in a crop, or you can do things like work out the size of the size of a pile of dirt on a ROM on a mine site. Do it with great accuracy, and that's what these sensors are able to achieve for us. And so things like agri-drone is something which I'm looking one direction at as well. We've got, you might not be able to comprehend the size of some of our farms here. Todd, they're you could drive all day and all night and still only be on one end of the farm.
Yeah.
And so being able to utilise aircraft is just saving the farmer time and money, and probably helping him live a bit longer as well.
Yeah.
huge mining industry here. So we've got stuff offshore. So we're doing a lot of inspections on oil and gas, out offshore. And that's not even talking about wind farm inspections, and power line inspections, which is a very important job, which is now we can take care of with an unmanned vehicle. So I haven't really gone into inspections yet because I'm sort of building my my fleet for that.
Yeah,
I think I'm probably going to be using a bigger drone with a bigger camera or whatever, bigger setup and a bit better flight time. So I've sort of just been, because you can't learn this stuff in a day.
No, for sure.
And that's and me, I found especially me, I didn't come from a background of tech. So I was sort of learning as I went and trying not to break everything on the way. So it's been a little bit of a trial and error in some cases, but YouTube is our best friend. There's 1,000 guys out there who want to tell you what they know, and that's been as everyone's really now catching on. YouTube is next legitimate university in a way,
For sure, There's no way I'd be doing what I'm doing either with the podcast, with the drone stuff. There's no way I'd be doing that without YouTube. So yeah,
and it's free. My God. So
exactly.
So I've sort of been whilst taking care of my second task, which was to learn how to take photo and subsequently video. Whilst working that little puzzle out, I've got a huge database of images and video, huge database and of 360 video and stuff like that. As your listeners will know, with the virtual tours or walkthroughs in real estate, you're doing a lot of 360 photography, and so that struck me as the artist in me, because I can sort of half legitimately say I'm an artist. I've been singing in bands for a long time, and although I don't play an instrument, I still claim to be an artist. So anyway, I've been manipulating 3D images and 360 photos from the drone as well, a lot from the drone, to manipulate them in the algorithm of Cooler, the software which I use for my 360 tours, and so I can make wonderful art with colour and an algorithm which is it's mathematical. It's a lot of it is it's beautiful.
Nice.
And you can do it effortlessly, like as if you're an artist. So that's been great to be able to do. So doing things like designing. Now just got into starting to design clothing, textures on clothing, patterns for bikinis and all sorts of stuff, which is something I would have never considered before. But I do have all of this stuff sitting here that I can sort of play around with now. So, it's I love the scope of the tech that we've fallen into, or it's come around.
Yeah, for sure. For the listeners out there, that John puts a lot of great variety across his social media. So I'll link everything below. So please do go and have a look at his social medias and his website as well, because there's some very cool stuff on there.
Oh, that's very nice of you, Todd.
No worries. So then, sort of looking forward, if there was, as we've said, there's so much diversity and so much stuff everyone with a drone could go into. But if there was sort of one thing that you were looking to sort of pursue or get into, one industry specifically, would there be one, or are you still just sort of seeing what's possible and throwing the net wide?
I'm a really ambitious bugger, mate. So I'm never content with just picking up scraps. If I know there's more out there to chase, I've always got a half eye on that prize.
Yeah.
So I'm big into networking, and there's a fella that runs a company here in Perth, named Mahmood Hussain, who's the boss and CEO founder of a company, Global Drone Solutions, who are primarily a training company. And Mahmood set him up. He's come from the mines. I think he was an engineer of some kind, possibly, or some serious manager. And he's brought these skills into this training organisation, which he has, let's just say, he's morphed into this huge animal of a business, which is now doing stuff all over the world, online training. He's training people in Indonesia and Middle East and God knows where else, in all of Australia, of course. And so he's a wealth of inspiration, but also he's the world's best networker I've ever come across, and he's unashamed about that. And he said, especially in this kind of industry we're in, where there's a lot of obviously a lot of competition, but there's a lot of there hasn't really been a rule book set up as such yet. No. Because we're still learning the rules in a way, and where the rules should go, or the rules are maybe different this year than they were 3 years ago, because our drones can now do so much more with the tech that's come so quickly to us. So people like Mahmood, who's got his thumb in every single kind of drone-associated pipe that you could think of. He's holding a summit here next week at a place called Kings Park, which is a very beautiful park just above the city. So an expo. And there's going to be drone professionals from all over the country coming in for that, as much as they can at the moment with the
nice
lockdowns.
Well, I mean, I'm jealous that anyone's allowed to get together. I'm as it stands, I'm currently not even allowed to go and see my mum and dad. So the fact you can have a bit of a conference and get together with someone is very good.
Well, I'm sure we're going to be able to live stream it for you, or at least record it and pass it on to you.
Oh, brilliant! Yeah, that would be great.
It'd be a very achievable thing, I think, with some of the tech we got getting around.
Yeah, that should. To be fair, with what else we can do, that should be fairly manageable. That'd be awesome. I'd appreciate that.
Yeah.
And then, so you are our first Australian guest on the podcast. So the process of becoming a sort of certified and qualified drone pilot here is a little bit complicated, but obviously most of our listeners will know because they're from here. What is the process like in Australia? So you want to do some commercial work as a drone pilot? What do you have to do before you do that?
Yep. In order to get a paid job, you've got to have your insurance, don't you? So, without a commercial ticket to pull out of your pocket, you can't approach an insurance company. So you must go down and equip yourself with your Ripple, the remote operated pilot's license, which will cost you, a couple of $1,000, maybe $3. It's a 5-day course. It doesn't require you to have any prior experience flying. They're heavy on that part of the tuition part of the course very early. You're into flying in the first few minutes. You arrive. They get it out of the way and show you how easy it is and what not to do and all that. And they're very So we've got it's a 5-day thing. And then we can go out and we can approach the insurance company.
Okay, yeah, that sounds like a pretty similar process to us. To be fair, we have a fairly complicated document called an operations manual, which is basically where you have to list all of your standard operating practices, and then you apply for like a permission for commercial operations. So maybe a little bit more long-winded here, but yeah, and actually all that process is changing here as of December 31st. So it's becoming a little bit more simple here, which is nice.
That's nice to hear. Well, it's not a simple thing, is it? When you've got thousands of powered aircraft, for all intents and purposes, we're flying an aircraft around that we are able to fly out of line of sight. Although we're not actually allowed to without those permits, but we're able to if we're Joe Blow, we can go to the shop and pick ourselves up a drone now prior to compulsory registration.
Yeah.
And we can fly that thing from 4 kilometres away, and that's kind of scary, isn't it? So,
Jeez.
and yeah, we've all heard the stories of Gatwick, the nightmares that you had a couple of years ago, and whether that was or wasn't a drone. There was all sorts of conjecture, wasn't there, with the media as to what was going on.
Yeah.
And that's the scary thing about drones. You can get in and out. You can almost look like if your half sight's half impaired, you won't see a drone moving quickly at 120 metres in the air.
Yeah.
You won't see it unless you're fluking it. So anyway, it's when you've got 1,000 guys out there flying things around in the airspace who may or may not be equipped with the correct knowledge and certification to do that safely, then you're going to have what's your guiding body for your we call ours CASA over here, the Civil Aviation Board.
Yeah,
Australia.
ours is the CAA, the Civil Aviation Authority, so similar thing.
Right, of course. And so they've been obviously overwhelmed with the number of problems that have now arrived on over their desk.
Yeah.
Or potential problems. So how do they safeguard that? They've just got to keep doing what they're doing, which is moving towards compulsory registration and all that, and compulsory. They're going to know when our drone is in the air, basically.
Yeah.
Turn them away, aren't they?
Yeah, for sure.
Which is probably a good thing.
Yeah, definitely. I think, especially for people that are doing it properly, like you and me, it is nice to know that that's what people want. They don't want people just sort of flying around with reckless abandon and giving the rest of us a bad name. So yeah, for sure.
Yeah, because it scares people, as you say. People are not ready for this kind of tech.
No.
If they don't know anything about it and they're a little bit aside of what we're doing, they're totally afraid of what we're doing.
Yeah.
They're very intimidated by a quadcopter that is able to deliver them food.
Yeah.
Their home, and that's intimidating as well.
Yeah. Yeah, it's funny. We're definitely in that sort of transition zone, but where the technology is there and pretty cheap and pretty accessible, but that sort of public perception and getting the public to accept it just isn't quite there yet.
Paradigm shift, isn't it? But it's going to happen.
Yeah, it'll definitely happen. Well, that actually leads us nicely onto my next question. I was just going to sort of broaden it out a little bit and think about the sort of industry as a whole. What do you think we've touched on a couple of potentials there, but what do you think the future holds for the drone industry? Where do you see it going? What uses will it have? That kind of thing.
Well, have you watched sci-fi? There's been some cool Netflix sci-fis coming out recently. A lot of them coming out of Asia and Russia, and these guys have accepted the fate of drones, fully incorporated that into their futuristic movies. Drones are everywhere in some of them. Like their movies, they're doing everything.
Yeah.
Autonomous driving of vehicles is only minutes away from happening, isn't it?
Yeah.
Autonomous, like full self-driving of cars, the tech is already there for that. They're just certifying all that now, and it's just a matter of legislation now. So autonomous driving of vehicles, we've been dropped, for example, so we've got some of the biggest iron ore mines in the world, about 2,000 kilometres north of Perth. But we operate most of the machinery from the airport here in Perth remotely. Like the 100-ton dump trucks are driven by old mate at the airport sitting at a desk.
Yeah.
So, that's been going on for 10 years here.
Yeah.
So where do I see it going?
Everywhere.
But people will be a little bit surprised to know that they won't probably be allowed to drive their car in a few years because the machine will be able to drive it so much better.
Yeah.
and that'll just be a fact. Everyone's going to have to get it into their head and accept, because it's happening, and that's definitely one way it's going. I reckon.
Yeah.
And so that being the case, these machines are only going to get better at what they do. So we're talking about not just cars and trucks and little drones, but the drones will increase in size as they increase the technology in the batteries to be able to lift supersonic. So they'll start to go supersonic. I think air travel will go electric pretty soon.
Okay. Yeah.
I believe they're just getting the batteries now to the level where they can just about do the sums to do supersonic. The internal combustion engine is going to die a very quick death, I think, in the end. There are a lot of rev heads and petrol heads who will not like the sound of that. I know that, especially in Australia, we've got a few of those guys.
Yeah, we've got plenty here too. Bring it on, I say. Viva the electric revolution, I reckon.
Well, hey, brushless engines, brushless motors have done it for us, haven't they, with our rotors?
Yeah.
And being able to move our rotors so quickly.
Yeah, exactly.
Efficiently.
Yeah, for sure. And then are you I mean, we've already spoken quite a lot about sort of like legislation, governing bodies, paperwork, that kind of thing. Are you optimistic, sort of more specifically on UAVs, unmanned aerial vehicles, what we fly? Are you optimistic about the future, or do you think that there's a chance that legislation and paperwork might get in the way of the sort of everyday user like you and me? What do you think?
Hey, Todd, I'm an eternal optimist.
Good man, me
generally.
too.
I like to think that we've got the brainiacs pointed in the right direction these days. So look, these boys who are going out and becoming engineers and working out how these machines work safely, and to do it in a safe way. That's really become the new thing, hasn't it?
Yeah.
The explosion of technology and using the new technology safely has become a real thing focus, especially people like Elon Musk, and trying to reimagine how to build a car. Using the machine to build the machine, and doing that on scale has been something he's had to conquer, and he has conquered.
Yeah,
hasn't he? But it's been. I think we're probably going to get a lot fatter, because we're not going to have to even pedal or anything, or something will just come and pick us up and take us to the kitchen.
like Wall-E. Have you seen the Pixar film Wall-E? Yeah, just like that.
Yeah. Well, heads will get really big and bloated, and
mine's big enough.
The thumbs won't work. Yeah. So it's the other thing that I've as we spoke on just earlier, the thing about the virtual world, which is now the cameras and the metamorphosis of the cameras in the last 10 years has been another big story, hasn't it?
Yeah.
And that's coming from someone who's only just poked his toe into the world of photography himself. So I am stunned by what I can achieve with a camera, with a really small camera. Really, even a small, tiny little. I mean, everyone knows that cameras on their phones are able to do these things, which is just, people would have called it magic 10 years ago.
Yeah, it's insane.
Wouldn't they?
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, you can achieve all of this, demoralisingly good work, or demoralising, just great results from such a tiny little sensor.
Yeah.
I use a DJI Osmo Pocket.
Yes. I've always been tempted by them.
Have you? Yeah. Well, I can vouch for them. Absolutely. they pound for pound, that's the best camera I think I've probably ever used
Wow.
with its three-way gimbal and just the I believe 4K vid and all that sort of thing. And the thing looks like Doctor Who's little tool.
Yeah.
That's it looks like a toothbrush. And you can achieve almost cinematographic results with that. And I think it's made a lot of videographers sort of breathe heavily, when they saw some kid coming in with one of them,
Oh well, every time I run around with my Canon EOS R 16 to 35mm lens on like a Ronin gimbal that weighs about 8 kilograms. Every time I'm running around with one of them, I'm like, why don't you just get an Osmo Pocket and just use that instead? But yeah.
Hey, that's right. And soon they'll be able to do with a phone what we've been doing with this new gimbal.
Yeah, for sure. So here's a question for you then. Do you worry that because that technology is becoming so good and so accessible for people that aren't necessarily experts in the field, is that cause for concern, like for people like me and you? Are people just going to start to do everything themselves and not outsource and do everything in-house? And is that a concern, or do you think there'll always be the room for experts?
I'm concerned, mate, because I know that if a bit of a tech dummy like me can achieve what I have in a couple of years and learn and basically get a hold of it, whereas it would have taken 10 years, I think, prior to that to be able to achieve.
Yeah.
Everything is just becoming so user friendly and so automated.
Mm-hmm.
And automation is going to be the buzzword of the next. Yeah. I reckon that's what everyone will say first when they first word they speak. Automation is going to put a lot of people out of work. It's going to change the way we think about work, and not just people like us. It's going to disrupt probably thousands of different little industries in its own way.
Yeah.
And put people out of work where they wouldn't have. So people are going to have to reinvent themselves.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to have to find different ways of bringing value into whatever it is they can with regards to work, and that's something that I think is a necessary skill anyway.
Yeah.
That's something that my dad told me about it when I was a kid. He used to tell me all sorts of weird stuff, but that was one of them. The being able to reinvent yourself when your road's blocked here and you're buggered there. You're going to have to pick yourself up, go the other way, and work out where the path is that way. So in order to survive. So being able to reinvent and be resilient in the face of becoming useless or becoming worthless in a way. Yeah, as far as what you used to be able to get paid to do.
Yeah, definitely.
So that will be something everyone's going to have to deal with. That might as well start doing it now.
Well, that's the thing, isn't it? It's not. Hopefully, it shouldn't come as a shock to people when it happens. It's been talked about and signposted for a pretty long time, and like we've already mentioned, there's so many resources. There's YouTube, obviously, but there's so many resources out there to learn a new skill and to reinvent yourself that really, if you're at all worried about your job being taken by automation, then there is so much stuff out there that you can learn and just reinvent yourself and get on with something else.
Well, there's still a gazillion things that we're able to go out there and do out in the big world of work, but the spanner we've just been thrown with this lockdown concept has really brought things about really very quickly as far as this work from home business. People are now realising they didn't really need to go to the office for the last 10 years.
Yeah.
They could have done it all from home anyway and just done it by email and some kind of Zoom or whatever video thing to communicate with each other. It's just thrown us into the deep end of that homework thing this year, hasn't it?
Definitely.
At school, doing it from home, that's baby in a, baby Jesus in a manger. I hope this fear of a COVID or a pandemic thing is only going to be a temporary fear we have to deal with, but we don't know that, do we? So if we can keep ourselves safe and working effectively from home, keeping our parents safe, elderly parents, and at the same time, that's probably something, a good place to start,
Definitely.
And being able to guarantee, that start there, and I guess try and remove the fear like that, if you can keep yourself under cotton wool wrap, a little bit, without going overboard, of course.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's definitely changed how we'll do a lot of things. I mean, even specifically within the drone industry in the UK, if a year ago you said that drones were going to start to be used for sort of medical delivery stuff, you'd probably say no, that's not going to happen for 5 years. Whereas now it's starting next month because we've just sort of been rushed into it by what's going on. So for the drone industry, it sped things up quite nicely. But yeah.
Yeah. Well, Mr. Mahmood Hussain, my friend from Global Drone Solutions, I think he's wringing his hands together just quietly and
I'm sure
surreptitiously, without wanting to feel too clever about himself. However, he picked it. He's one of the guys that went right. This is upon us. Mm-hmm. Let's look big now.
Yeah,
and that's what he did a couple of years ago. So it's nice to have some guy like that I to be able to pick his brain and network through him. And look, I'll end up networking him to people like yourself, Todd, as well.
That'd be great,
and all sorts of, that's what we're now able to do, and in a way we're forced to do that, aren't we? In order to survive, to find these people that are able to take the lead with some of this disruptive, events that are coming in and smacking us in the chest, and so we're having to find these people who know what they're doing to bring everyone to the right place and then delegate accordingly.
Yeah.
That's I'll be live streaming that Expo to you next
awesome
10 days or so.
Appreciate that, John. Thank you very much. Right, so that's some more sort of heavy, wide scale stuff. So let's lighten it up. Let's go a bit easier. So just a few sort of easy questions. Well, hopefully easy, light-hearted questions to sort of finish off, if that's all right. First one, I think I probably know the answer, having had that chat earlier. But what's your favourite drone to fly and why?
Look, DJI I started with DJI.
Yeah.
And I haven't deviated from them at all. I haven't found it necessary to look anywhere else. DJI just nailed all the really important stuff very quickly. I think, with the interactive ability of their software and the ease that it was able to give you, the ease of operation whilst performing pretty complex stuff, your point to point, doing complex, intelligent flight mode stuff.
Yeah.
It is now just to press a button to do it. You don't have to think. You don't have to know anything about aeronautics. You just know how to press a button, similar to a mouse pad on the computer. So that's it, isn't it? Mavic 2 Pro has been able to do everything for me, and I haven't really seen anything out there, with the exception of I've seen a couple of little tricky things recently that are able to fly into a house and autonomously digitally map and virtual tour the house by themselves, and then come out and take a picture on the front lawn, and then then you get in the car and go home.
Wowzers.
I saw that. Yeah. So I think that's another one that's we're going to be able to let do the work for us.
Yeah. We are essentially professional button pushers, aren't we? That's basically what we are.
Well, I'd like to think we know a lot more than just that, but essentially, really, we're pushing a few buttons, mate, pretending we know everything else.
Okay, that's a good one. Yeah, I think it's. Yeah, I mean, I don't think it's a surprise that DJI have such a grip of the market. I think their products just are so much better than pretty much everything else out there, and they just continue to go. Like with the Mini 2 that's just come out, just by all accounts is just ridiculous for what it is. So yeah, it's not surprised.
Can you tell me what the story? So what's the difference? What is the Mini 2 able to do that the Mini 1 wasn't able to do as well? What's the big? Because I heard the Mini 2 was a much bigger step.
Yeah. So I think again it's a better sensor, so you just a better image, better dynamic range on the image. It's
what sort of sensor have they got on you?
Don't know. You found me out there. I'm not sure off the top of my head.
Yeah. Anything like 1 inch?
No, not that big. No. But I think the big thing is that it's lighter, so it's 249 grams, which takes it under the weight limit for so you can basically anyone can fly it anywhere they want at any time, basically. Which, I mean, again, it depends on the work you're doing, but for a lot of people that will make a huge difference. Just to be able to throw it up without talking to air traffic control, without doing your planning, without doing a risk assessment and all that stuff, just to be able to throw it up there without any risk of being liable is very big.
Question for you, Todd. So with the advent of these little micro drones like the Mavic Mini 1 2, and we know that they're only going to get better and better and better. So kids, when I say kids, I mean a 10-year-old has been able to operate a drone for years now, but a 10-year-old doesn't want to have to go and do a 5-day course and become certified commercially. So at the moment in England, how does it go there? Right? Who trains the 10-year-old apart from their poor father, who would be loving that job, I'm sure, in most cases, you know?
Yeah, I mean,
not cheap.
That is a good question. I think in that case, I mean, even if you're there's a difference between being able to fly the Mini 2 and to be able to work commercially. So you still need. It's changing. It's not. I don't think it's called a permission for commercial operations as of January. It's called something else, which escapes me. So you'll still need a different qualification to fly commercially, which is, I think it consists of like an online test and either going to have a flight test or proving that you've got a certain amount of flying hours or that kind of thing. So there is still that in place for commercial work. But like you say, if a 10-year-old wants to just buy a Mini 2 and just start flying around, then no training, just sort of crack on.
And he can. Yeah, that's right. So he can then fly it wherever he wants.
Yeah.
Obviously within some confines, but So that was going to be something I was going to look into with another pilot who were going to try and go around and make sure these kids know a little bit more than.
A
little bit more, just as far as their awareness, telling them what we know. So then they don't end up in trouble or
it's a nice idea.
Dad in trouble.
Yeah. No, I think that's a nice idea, I think. Yeah, because again, and that just for anyone that's listening to the podcast for the first time, we have another series called Drone Positive, which is basically trying to share positive stories about drones because we feel that drones have a pretty bad public perception and a pretty bad reputation. So if, like you say, if everyone that was flying a drone did have a bit more education and was flying a bit more responsibly and knew how to handle people when they asked the right questions and that kind of thing, then all of that would add to having a slightly better reputation in the public eye, I think.
Yeah, remove some of the cowboy element.
Say again?
From the system. Remove the cowboy element.
Yes, exactly.
Where possible.
Yeah.
But boys will be boys,
Yeah, I mean, I think it's impossible to get rid of them completely, but we can definitely get rid of some of them, hopefully.
Yeah.
Right. Next question then. And this could be a good one, I think, because I think a lot of the listeners would love to be flying in an environment like yours. So what is your favourite place to fly and why?
You know how well these cameras how well they pick up water.
Yeah.
You know, when you're flying over the ocean.
Yeah, love it.
The detail that you're able to get is just stuns me. So I could fly my drone from here to the beach and back in about 90 seconds. So if I wanted to, I could. But
again, not jealous at all. Honestly, not jealous at all.
Yeah. So I live in a place called Cottesloe, which is our premier beach. So obviously we've got to obey the rules and stuff there, but it is just a picture perfect bit of coastline, bit of beach, really, really long white beaches, really nice breaks. A lot of bird life around, a lot of people getting around on boards and kayaks and windsurfers and flying with a parachute, getting around, and so it's a spectacular place to get out and about, weather permitting, of course. I feel very lucky to have that on my doorstep.
Mm-hmm.
Plus, I've got thousands of kilometres of coastline, north and south of me, offering exactly the same thing.
Yeah.
And we're free to go and do that as well. Obviously following the laws and regs. So there's been a lot of you go to the beach and you have a look up, you'll probably see something darting around.
Yeah. Nice. Yeah, it's I'm definitely jealous to have that for you to have that on your doorstep, to be honest. But
where's your favourite place to fly?
Oh, good question. Probably coast related as well. Actually, I flew down in over the summer. I flew down in Cornwall at a place called Fistral Bay, which is just sort of around the corner from Newquay, and got some like probably my favourite photos ever of sort of like those top down ocean shots you see a lot of. Got a lot of those, and got some very cool video of my girlfriend's cousin surfing, which was really good fun. So yeah, probably down there, I reckon. Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, the best laid plans. Like last night, I spent a couple of hours getting a little bit of a database of a virtual background for this Zoom meeting, and I had a huge playlist ready to go where I was going to be able to show you all a lot of my video, and of course, none of that worked when I logged in today. So yeah, there's something about being able to see see how the ocean looks from that height, with that kind of detail. Yeah, we obviously we can spot sharks very easily and stuff. We've got to think about that here, So that's it's just an amazing new bird's eye view. We've fallen into our lap, and people spit out when I show them photos of. Not only have we got beaches, we've got a really nice river that comes into the centre of Perth, called the Swan River, and it's a really picturesque, bit of water, and the footage we're getting to that at the right time of day is spectacular as well. People freak out when they see, they're just not used to seeing the city from that angle.
Yeah, exactly. It looks like somewhere they don't live. We've actually we did an episode of Drone Positive on the use of drones. I think it spotted I think it was in Bondi, and they used a drone they saw that a guy was out surfing and they saw a shark on the drone, and they told the guy to come in, and he was fine in the end, obviously, but yeah, so there's another use of drones for you.
Oh yeah, every surf club in Australia has a drone operator with a little Phantom Pro. Yeah. Or a little Mavic or whatever, yeah.
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 Right. And then the next one, what's been your most challenging flight and why was it challenging?
Most challenging flight?
Yeah. If you haven't had a challenging one, don't worry. But
oh, don't worry, I've had a few challenging ones. You sort of got to test the limits of these toys a little bit, don't you? I mean, machine. So last year I drove across Australia with my uncle, with my mum's brother, and we went across the Nullarbor Plain, which is a very sort of well-known stretch of road traversing the country, and so we've got this amazing scenery in the Australian Bight.
mm-hmm.
You know, that bit of the south end of Australia looks like a great big bite's been taken out,
mm-hmm.
and so that's the huge whale watching areas, and so it's fairly touristy, you know. So they were quick, smart onto the drone operators. Like they don't let us anywhere near the place.
Yeah.
So not that we ever admit it, but how often do you get to drive across the Australian Bight and get told, no, you can't use your drone to see the 30 whales mating over there?
Yeah, yeah.
So, look, I drove 5-10 k's down the road, and I took some of the most spectacular pictures I've ever taken, without question. But I had to fly a couple of kilometres to get there.
Right. Yeah.
So we had so it's pretty windy down in the south of Australia, Antarctic swells coming up, and so that's our danger, isn't it? When we're flying so far from home over water in high wind, which is affecting our ability to fly the same way on our way back when our battery's depleted, and we're just trying not to think about the $4,000 bit of robot, falling into the Indian Ocean, the Southern Ocean.
Yeah.
And not even getting the footage.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's why my most, even though he didn't miss a beat, he didn't miss a beat. I was nervous, but yeah, it did not miss a beat. It came back to me, landed perfectly, or like it normally does.
Yeah, nice. Like, that's a relief. That's a good feeling.
Yeah, but look, that doesn't mean that I'm not diligent.
No, for
with
sure.
all of my with my pre-flight tests and making sure my everything is properly properly calibrated before I'm heading up. My compass gets calibrated more often than not.
Yeah. Me too. It's not worth not doing it, really, is it?
Why not? You know?
Yeah. Do the funny little compass dance where you walk around your drone.
Yeah, you don't look very classy, do you?
No,
yeah.
No, there's no way to make that look cool.
Yeah, maybe we'll start trying to do that. I'll send you some photos of us trying to disguise ourselves while we're doing the dumb dance with the calibration. But no, there's look, that's a trap for young players, young enthusiasts or guys or girls that haven't been doing it very long. They'll have this confidence that the thing can go anywhere, and they'll bring it back or come straight back to where they are and now. And a lot of people have come undone, haven't they? Doing that and losing their $3,000 robot on the second day, just through not doing simple little checks and things that you can do to minimise the risk of that happening.
Yeah, I think for anyone that's listening that doesn't fly a drone but wants to, I'd say slow and steady. Make sure you know exactly what you're doing and what you can expect before you test it too much, I think.
I think drone swarms is going to be the new normal in a couple of years. So things like Skyworks will disappear, like fireworks.
You shared a post about that the other day, didn't you? I think about a firework display that was used with a drone swarm.
Yeah, they're flying thousands at a time. These crew, I think there was it 2,000? I think they had up there or something.
Yeah, I think so.
I'm sure they've done bigger ones than that, maybe, but it's it's now turning into an environmental thing. Now we've got lights.
Yep.
We don't have to explode anything up there and kill any birds.
Yeah.
Or many. It's that's a big change. The other thing, I don't suppose you have to worry about large eagles killing your drones.
I mean, no, not Australian caliber eagles. We have seagulls, but no, nothing quite like your eagles, I'm sure.
Seagulls don't even bother, but these eagles, they just eat drones. If you're not careful, you never see them because they fly too quick.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're flying supersonic when they hit your drone.
Yeah.
So, you'd be lucky to see them. So that's really in the south of Australia, more in the south.
Yeah. Okay.
They reckon other really, really angry birds down there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I've had a couple of birds have a little nibble, but they quickly decide they don't want to because they don't have quite the size that they need to take the drone on. But
yeah, down behind me at Cottesloe Beach, there's lots of magpies there. Australian magpies and crows.
Yeah.
And I very often have them just sitting 3 or 4 meters away from the drone. I'm up there hovering, trying to wait for the shot or something like that, or I'm doing a video or real estate video. And these crows always said they understand that it's a machine.
Yeah.
It's not a bird. It's not. They're smart enough to know it's not going to hurt them unless they get too close.
Yeah, they're just a bit curious. Yeah.
And so they sit there and look at you.
Yeah.
It's pretty funny.
Yeah, it's funny. Right, and then again, you've got some good choice down in Australia, but it doesn't need to be Australia. It can be worldwide. If you could film somewhere or something that you've never filmed before, what would it be? And you don't have to worry about whether it's legal. You don't have to do the planning. You can just do it. So what would it be?
It's an easy one for me. I would be filming Elon Musk take the new super heavy Starship on its maiden voyage out of the atmosphere.
That is a great shout.
Yeah, I'll be getting really close to it as well. It's great. I'll be taking the piss a little bit.
That is such a good shout. No offense to my previous guest, but that is the best answer I've had so far. I like that. That's a great choice.
Yeah, I'm astounded by what that guy's doing in general.
Yeah.
As you have to be, so everyone, you just have to watch a YouTube show of updating on what his companies are doing at the moment.
Yeah.
He is the guy that's taking us into this automation.
Yeah.
He's the guy that's about to plug us into AI, but from an anode into our brain if we've got a brain injury, and teach us how to walk and talk and bodily functions will be able to be rejoined, via the neural.
Yeah, that's neural link, isn't it? Yeah, he's one of those people that probably won't be fully appreciated by most people until the future. I think in sort of 50, 100 years, people will look back at him like they do at other people nowadays. But yeah, he's just a pretty ridiculous human being, isn't he?
He's taken everyone by surprise, hasn't he? He's, he's the biggest company to have ever been introduced to the S&P 500.
Yeah.
So that's just happened in the last couple of days. He's just surpassed Bill Gates in wealth, and he's only just getting started.
Yeah, that's the scary thing, isn't it?
And he'll tell you he's only just getting started too.
Yeah.
He's got set up all of these things around him that are showing. Well, they're all working at the moment, and everyone keeps getting proven wrong by him. All these,
yeah.
Well,
he said for a while, hasn't he, that he's basically doing Tesla to sort of fund SpaceX, basically.
Absolutely, he's getting us off the planet, making us an interplanetary species is his main goal. That's his number one thing, and to do it sustainably.
Yeah, what a bloke.
And to do it sustainably, which is amazing. What a set of balls on him to take on something like the coal industry.
Yeah, I know. It's great. It's crazy.
And he didn't even flinch. He just took on the coal industry, and he's kicking their ass.
Yeah,
he's kicking their ass. Yeah. So, they're going to start want to take notice of him sooner or later, put him in charge, pretty much.
That'd be good. That'd be good. It'd be better than some current choices, I reckon. But yeah.
Well, mate, yeah, that's right. I think so too.
And then the last one, if you could make one change to the drone industry or particularly the UAV industry, what would it be?
To make one change?
Yeah. Less regulations, more regulations, whatever it might be.
Regulations don't bother me too much. So I think they're really, really necessary and saving everyone a lot of drama. Regulations are just regular. Rules are rules. Got to be rules. Otherwise, it's chaos. And kids have their eye taken out by rotor.
Mm-hmm.
Look, if I could change anything about it, it's bloody expensive.
Yeah.
Really, really expensive. If there's anything, if maybe someone could come and underwrite the whole UAV industry, someone like Elon maybe come in and underwrite everyone and take that pressure away from us struggling small business owners who are just trying to make a buck in the world. He's got a couple of extra billion.
Yeah, I mean, it wouldn't take much, would it?
That'd buy us a lot of lithium-ion batteries, mate.
Yeah. Yeah, well.
Okay. Sorry, no. Let me have one more go.
Go on.
I need someone to be able to charge a battery in 5 minutes.
Yes. To be fair, we're probably still asking the same man. We're probably still looking for Elon to come and help us there.
Common denominator, but that's the one thing. That ritual when you come home.
Yeah.
Plug everything in, and you've lost the cord again, or you've moved it in your other bag, and you don't find it for 3 hours or something. Charging batteries has become my. I don't have kids, Todd. So, taking care of my tech has become sort of like my pet thing.
Yeah.
And people look at me a bit weird when I tell them with great love and adoration about my charging station.
Charging station. Everyone loves a charging station.
Getting pretty big now, and you should see it. Yeah, so it's just become a new normal for me.
Yeah, I like it. Well, I mean, Elon Musk is almost certainly listening to the podcast, so I'm sure he'll reach out and get in touch.
Yeah.
But
no
yeah,
question.
Exactly. So John, I mean, thank you so much for your time. That about does it. If you could just let people know where they can find you, I'll link everything below as well. But where can people find you if they want to see your work?
Well, they can head down to the website, the Facebook page. It's under Virtual Tours and Drone Magic. VTDM is the new catchphrase that everyone's talking about around town. We've really dominated the small city that is Perth in our own tiny way in the last 12 months, just with getting a bit organised, and so you can head into my Instagram or my Facebook page. I'm starting to sell things on Shopify. You can come if you need a pair of bikinis. I designed a couple of different spot-on sets of bikinis, and I'm not being creepy, but I think I might have a bit of a flair for it. A little bit of my female side has really come out today, and I'm doing some really nice fashion.
I love that.
And I'm doing it all with a drone, and it's costing me nothing to put together. It's a $30 a month for Shopify account in a drop shipping arrangement.
Love that.
And that might, if I can possibly get some kind of lunatic to think that my stuff is fashionable, maybe that can start putting some food on the table in a weird little way. And I'm using my stock footage that I've taken over the last couple of years, just messing around and working that into an algorithm through the 3D space and making it look trippy.
Like that. I love that.
And all of a sudden I'm an artist, and I'm charging people to wear this stuff I'm able to magic up, and I can do it with a 46-year-old half-munted IT brain, and I can do it convincingly. So,
well, there you go. Many strings to many bows, and we will make sure that all of those bows are linked down below. But John,
I'll let you decide, though. I'll let you guys decide.
But listen, thank you so much for your time today. It has been awesome to chat. Sounds like you're doing some great work, and hopefully we'll stay in touch and chat again soon.
So great to meet you, Todd. Thank you so much, and good luck with everything. And I want to do this again with you pretty soon.
Thanks, John. Take care. So there we go. That does it for another episode of the Droning On podcast. Thank you so much to John and Virtual Tours and Drone Magic for their time. A really enjoyable and interesting chat. As we said, all of the links to John's website and socials are down in the podcast description, so do go and check out his work. He's got some great stuff to see. We would love for you to get in touch with us on social media too. We are at Altius Images on Twitter and Instagram, and you can find us easy enough by searching Altius Images on LinkedIn, Facebook, YouTube, TikTok. All of the links for our channels are down below as well, so do please reach out. We'd love to hear from you. Earlier this week, we released another episode of our Drone Positive podcast. So if you are new to the podcast and want to check out that series, then just go back in the feed and look out for that. But thank you for listening today, guys. Please subscribe to, share, and rate the podcast so that we can spread it as far and wide as possible. We'll see you next Monday for episode 19 of the Drone Positive podcast. But for now, fly safe and stay safe, folks. Bye-bye. Thank you.